I sat by the window with a cup of cold tea, watching the last snow dance behind the glass. Nature has its own language, and if you learn it, you can understand everything, even English grammar. Seasons, there are four of them, but every year they behave differently, like actors who forgot the script. Today I want to tell you about them, not like a meteorologist, but as a man who has lived through each season with his own skin. Let's start with spring. Spring, a word that sounds like a jump. And indeed, spring is the moment when the earth leaps from death to life. March, still cold, but it smells different already. Snow becomes gray, loose, it is dying. Snow melts. Puddles underfoot reflect the sky, gray but with glimpses of blue. Icicles weep from the rooftops. Dripping, drip, 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 the rhythm to which all living things awaken. In April, everything explodes. April, buds on the trees swell and burst, releasing sticky little leaves. Buds. I love that word. It's short like a gunshot. Grass pushes through last year's rot. Grass. Timid at first, pale green, almost yellow at the roots. And then boom, the lawn turns emerald. Birds return from the south. Birds migrate. Bird migration is one of the wonders we've stopped noticing. They simply appear one morning, and the air fills with clamor. May, my favorite month of spring. Blossom. Cherry and apple trees dress up in white and pink, like brides. Petals whirl in the wind, fall onto sidewalks like confetti. The air is thick with fragrances. Warmth comes in waves. But there are still cold mornings when you can see your breath. Spring has a changeable character. In the morning, you're in a jacket. In the afternoon, in a t-shirt. Changeable weather. I stand on the balcony and breathe. A deep breath in. Spring is hope translated into the language of smells. Summer. Summer. It doesn't come gradually, but all at once, like a punch to the gut. June is still merciful. But by July, the air turns into thick syrup. Heat. Scorching heat. The sun blazes mercilessly, and the asphalt melts under your soles. The sun is blazing. I remember how, as a child, we escaped the city to the river. A river. The water was cold, shocking after the scorching shore. We dive off the wooden planks, holding our breath. To dive, to hold your breath. Summer noon is a special time. Everything stands still. Birds fall silent. Even the wind hides in the shade. I used to lie in a hammock at the dacha and gaze at the sky. It was faded, whitish from the heat. It smelled of freshly cut grass. That smell is the quintessence of July. And it also smelled of heated pine needles. The pines stood like guards, dropping dry needles onto the ground. Pine needles! In the evening, mosquitoes arrived. Their thin whine drove us crazy. We burned coils that smoldered and smoked, keeping the insects away. A thunderstorm. A summer thunderstorm is theater. First, the sky darkens, turning leaden. Then a squall hits. A gust of wind. Trees bend, leaves turn inside out. And then, a clap of thunder. Thunder. And lightning splitting the sky in two. Lightning. Rain crashes down like a wall. Downpour. Water flows through the streets like rivers. And after, freshness. A washed world. A rainbow. A rainbow. 7 colors we've known since childhood. Yet every time we tilt our heads up as if it were the first. August is the sunset of summer. August. Nights grow longer. The first autumn note appears in the air. Shooting stars. We made wishes, lying on the roof of an old shed. In the morning, fog spreads over the field. Fog/mist, thick as milk. I'd walk barefoot into the dew. Dew. The dew burned my feet with cold. Summer was leaving behind sunburn on my shoulders and bleached hair. A tan, a peeling nose. Summer is the season that leaves marks on your skin. Autumn. Autumn. 2 names for one season. I prefer autumn. It sounds deeper, like an echo in a well. September. It's still warm, but the light is different now. It's golden, low, hitting your eyes at a sharp angle. Leaves change color. Green gives way to yellow, orange, crimson. The maple tree is on fire. The chestnut drops spiky balls onto the sidewalk. October, the time of rains and the first cold. The sky is covered with a gray veil. Overcast. That word sounds like a verdict. It drizzles nonstop. Drizzle. A fine, nasty rain that hangs in the air like watery dust. An umbrella becomes a mandatory accessory. An umbrella. I constantly forget at home and get wet under bus stop shelters. The wind strips the trees. They stand bare, black against the gray sky. But there is beauty in October, too. The rustle of leaves underfoot. Rustle of leaves. I love walking the park and listening to that sound. It's dry, cozy. Picking mushrooms. To pick mushrooms. We used to go to the forest as a family. The autumn forest smells of decay and dampness. Moss squelches underfoot. Honey mushrooms grow on stumps. I was never a good mushroom picker, but the process itself, wandering among the trunks, breathing the cold air, felt like therapy to me. November, pre-winter, the darkest month. Slush, a mix of dirt and melting first snow. Grayness seeps into the soul. Short days, long nights. At 4 o'clock, it's already dark. I turn on the lamp, make cocoa, and wrap myself in a blanket. Autumn is the time of melancholy, but there's depth in that sadness. We slow down. We listen to the silence. We read books. Autumn is the most bookish season. Winter, winter. It comes quietly. The first snow usually falls at night. First snow. You wake up, and everything outside is white. The world becomes clean, as if all mistakes have been erased. Snowflakes fall slowly, whirling in the air. Snowflakes. As a child, I used to catch them with my tongue. Now I just watch. Snowdrifts grow on the windowsill. The snow crunches underfoot. You can't mistake that sound. A dry, frosty crunch. Frost. Frost. December is still merciful. But in January, the real cold hits. -20. Below zero. The air burns your nostrils. Your eyelashes become covered with hoarfrost. The trees stand in white lace. Indescribable beauty. Smoke comes from the chimneys. You can see your breath. I wrap myself in a scarf. Gloves or mittens? I prefer mittens. In them, fingers warm each other. Black ice. A transparent crust on the sidewalks. I walk like a tightrope walker, balancing with my arms. Falling hurts, so I bought boots with spikes. In the yards, children are making snowmen. Snowmen. A carrot for a nose. A bucket on the head. Classic. Snowballs. Snowballs. I remember those battles. Snow down the collar, red frozen cheeks. Laughter. Sledding. Sleds, ice slides, pieces of cardboard. Everything was used. Winter sports in general are rich in vocabulary. Skis, skates, snowboard. February. The shortest and the meanest month. Blizzards and snowstorms. Blizzard. Snowstorm. The wind howls in the chimneys, covering the roads with snow. You sit at home, looking at the fire, a fireplace. I don't have one, but there's a screen with burning logs on YouTube. Not quite the same, of course, but tea with ginger and cinnamon warms just as well. The main thing in winter is coziness. Cozy. There's no exact translation for this word, but we all know the feeling. A blanket, a book, a cat, silence outside the window. I sit by the window and understand everything is cyclical. After winter, spring always comes. A thaw. The snow settles, becomes granular, like sugar, dripping from the rooftops again. Birds start trying their voices. Timidly at first, then louder. Nature wakes up, yawns, stretches, and the wheel makes another turn. The wheel turns. Each season has its own taste. Spring, young sorrel and birch sap. Summer, strawberries and cold kvass. Autumn, apples with cinnamon and pumpkin soup. Winter, tangerines and hot chocolate. Each season has its color. Spring, green. Summer, yellow. Autumn, orange. Winter, white with blue shadows. Each season has its verb. Spring, to bloom, summer, to ripen, autumn, to harvest, winter, to hibernate. I love them all, although I used to consider myself a summer person. Now I understand. There is no bad weather, only unlearned words. Rain, snow, wind, Sunday clouds. If you can describe what you feel looking out the window, then you are no longer just a student. You are an observer, a philosopher, a poet. My cup is empty. The tea has gone completely cold. Twilight is thickening outside. Twilight. Spring twilight is lilac, transparent. Soon the street lamps will light up. I get up to pour myself a new serving. The seasons replace each other, and I remain myself, a person learning to speak about the world in a new language. And you know what? This is the best season, the time when you learn. It has no season. It is always inside. Learn the seasons. Say the months out loud. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Look out the window and ask yourself, what's the weather like today? Listen to the rain. Catch snowflakes. Breathe in the autumn. And let your English grow like grass in May.